All right, welcome back, everybody. A recent study conducted by the Post-Doctoral Research at the University of Pretoria revealed low PhD recruitment in corporate South Africa. Despite universities reportedly producing 14,155 PhDs, the study, which looked at the employability of PhD graduates in South Africa, indicates that graduates are struggling to find employment in the country. Dr. Amaleya Goneos-Malka, Post-Doctoral Research Fellow at the University of Pretoria, joins us now in the studio to elaborate more on their findings. It's good to have you in studio. Thank you very much for joining us. So we talk about, we produce 14,155 PhDs, but graduates are struggling to find unemployment. Tell me a little bit more. Help me understand this survey.
Well, first, let me just clarify. In terms of the 14,155, that is the number of PhDs that we produced within a 10-year period.
Within 10 years.
On average, we produce approximately 1,800 per annum.
Yeah.
And from the National Development Plan, we want to increase our output of 1,800 up to 5,000, 6,000 by 2030.
Yeah.
So in terms of a proportion of the population, it's going up from 28 per million of the population to 100 per million of the population. So these are big gains.
Okay.
The purpose of this study is about looking at what is happening from an industry point of view, because ultimately we need to stimulate our economy and we need to have our smartest brains and talent driving that innovation and development. So this study was looking at what the extent of penetration is of PhDs in industry. And what we found of going across the top 350 corporates in South Africa, so the top 200 JSE listed companies and 150 other leading local international entities like Samsung, Procter & Gamble, etc., going across 1.5 million employees, showed that there's only 0.07% of PhDs in corporate South Africa.
Sure. 0.7%. What is the problem? Are you finding it's that issue of brain drain of our PhD graduates leaving the country, or what do you put this down to?
Well, what is coming up through the research is that there's perceptions from industry where it is discriminatory factors. So there are assumptions coming through that PhDs are overqualified, that PhDs will cost corporates too much, that PhDs will not stay with companies for long. And those are all misconceptions that have been generated from an industry point of view. And I like to call them as the 5 myths. So one being that people won't stay with the company for long, which has been refuted by numerous studies. People don't leave a company if they're not satisfied. It's about the conditions, nothing to do with their qualification. Yeah. Another element from a remuneration point of view is all jobs are declared in terms of what they offer. And in terms of the value that people provide, it actually costs companies less because those people come with talent and are more attuned. Issues stem around also from a hierarchy point of view in terms of budgeting, because from a corporate point of view there seems to be a little bit of an inferiority complex. But it's about looking and digesting and understanding what those value of smart people can do to combine and contribute to the business.
It's actually quite amazing. I mean, because we even see that at some, recruitment firms and places like that they actually exclude such overly and highly qualified individuals, because it's just a difficult thing to find a job, high salaries, as you're saying. So you kind of have to find a balance of being you can't be too overly qualified and you can't be too underqualified. It's almost bizarre when one looks at it. You think that the higher your qualifications, the better you'll be paid and the higher the prospects are of you getting a job. But that's not the reality.
That's not the reality. And the point is, it's not necessarily looking about how much more money someone's going to acquire, but it's looking at the value contribution that individuals provide. So there's a great study last year which was done by UBS and WealthX, which looked at the billionaires in our world. So globally we've got 2,325 billionaires. 65% of them hold a university qualification. 11% hold PhDs. So if you look at that as a population group, how much they're contributing to society, how much they're extending development and growth, because ultimately through growth and development we see more jobs, we see greater prosperity. Yet in South Africa we've only got 0.07% of corporates holding a PhD. We have to be leveraging our intellectual talent to drive that innovation, to create that growth and development.
Yeah. Well, look, let's put it this way, and let's put it in simple numbers and the strategic way of a company having PhDs in a country. What does it add to your economy? What does it add to a company?
Well, adding, as I've demonstrated in terms from a point of view of our global billionaires, another study has shown from in the UK that 53% of their science PhDs, so whether that is in business management, whether it is in the life sciences, on receiving their qualification, they go into industry. So it shows that there is a great value in terms of our PhDs being able to contribute from an industry point of view. They've got beyond just their specialization. If you think about it, no one goes to a doctor or dentist without understanding that they've had 10 years under their belt. So in the same manner, PhDs are specialized in their particular area. And I know that whenever we turn on the TV set, for instance, you've got guests who come on board who have PhDs because they are the experts. It's about harnessing that expertise and benefiting organizations through that.
Yeah. All right. Now, I believe that there is a petition that's currently underway and available. Tell me a little bit about it and how do people get involved?
Yes, well, let me tell you the progress in terms of this campaign. So fundamentally it was about identifying the research and having that empirical evidence to state that we have got this low penetration. So moving on through that, in order to look at trying to encourage corporate South Africa to understand what the dynamics are, we've launched with a petition called the Post-Grad Protest. So it's hashtag Post-Grad Protest. It's housed under change.org, but accessible via Twitter if anyone does a simple search. And the purpose of this is for people to pledge their support. And if you go on, you'll see numerous comments in place already on people's experiences as postgraduates on what they're feeling from corporate SA. So I'd encourage people to go on, have a look, to sign up so that we can start changing South Africa. We can harness and cultivate the talent that we've developed and put it to good use in the economy.
All right, so that's on www.change.org.
That's right.
That I know it's a global website with 4 petitions, and it's hashtag Post-Grad Protest.
That's it.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for talking to us about some of these issues and serious issues. I mean, you've got postgraduate PhD professionals sitting at home not being able to get a job. It doesn't make sense, does it? Dr. Amaleya Goneos-Malka is a Post-Doctoral Research Fellow at the University of Pretoria. Thanks again for being with us.
Thank you very much.
Let's take a break. We'll be with you after this, and we're changing tack completely. We're talking Madam Zingara. Stay tuned.